Metal nerds, what's up? It's Pete Thorn. Welcome to my studio. Hey, I'm here today to show you this awesome pedal from Origin Effects. It's the Revival TREM pedal. Now, of course, Origin Effects, great company from the UK that brought you the awesome sounding Slide Rig and Cali 76 compressor pedals, as well as the Revival Drive and Revival Drive compact pedals, which are great sounding overdrive distortions that really capture real tube amp tone and feel in a pedal. These aren't like TS-808 clones or something. These are full on like analog amplifier circuits recreated in pedal form. And there's videos for all those pedals on my channel if you want to check them out in the Gear Demos playlist. Now with the Revival TREM, I feel like the Revival TREM name actually doesn't tell the whole story of this pedal. It is a terrific sounding tremolo pedal, but it's more than that. It actually captures the tone and the feel and the distortion characteristics as well of the classic Fender Brown Deluxe amplifier. It's an overdrive and distortion pedal just as much as it is a tremolo pedal. And you can use the overdrive and distortion separately. You can see the blinking green LED here. If I push this button, it goes red. That means just the overdrive circuit is active. If I hit it again, the green blinking light comes on. That's when the tremolo is added to the overdrive. So reading right off of the Revival TREM website here, it says, the first pedal ever to faithfully recreate the power tube bias trem effect found in late 50s and early 60s guitar amps. Based on the groundbreaking circuitry found in Origin Effects Revival Drive, the Revival TREM houses a complete valve amp style signal path recreated in all analog electronics. This allows it to not only deliver the authentic bias tremolo effect, but also serve up a range of realistic tube or valve amp tones, voiced after our 1962 Fender Brown Deluxe. Now, speaking just about the tremolo, they say, harmonically rich and dynamically responsive, the Revival TREM combines the unique sound and feel of biased tremolo with a range of modern features like switchable wave shapes, tap tempo, rhythmic subdivisions, and effects switcher integration. Okay, so talking about the switcher integration here just for a second, you got a jack on the top here. You can plug in a tap tempo button. You're able to tap tempo the pedal if you want. And you can see the green light changing speed there. This is, I'm flipping a switch on the pedal that changes the rhythmic subdivision. And you're also able to remotely switch this pedal if you've got it, say, mounted maybe in a rack mount setup on a drawer or something. Now, as far as the other controls on the pedal go, up top here you got 3 controls: volume, tone, and drive. This is for the overdrive circuit that recreates those tube amp characteristics of the 1962 Fender Brown Deluxe amp. Now down here you got a 3-way mini toggle and this contour pot right here. This allows you to voice the Revival TREM to run into pretty much any type of amplifier. So if you got like a real bright amplifier, say a blackface Fender with a bright cap on it, or maybe you got a dark amplifier, AC30 normal channel or something like that, you can voice this pedal for whatever you're going to plug into, even a flat power amp actually. Other controls here on the pedal, you've got an intensity knob here, and then you got a wave shape switch here that allows you to select kind of a more square wave, like real cutoff sort of tremolo, or a sort of more smooth around the edges tremolo. And then you got a speed control here with the aforementioned 3-position switch that allows you to select, if you're doing tap, tempo, some rhythmic subdivisions. So what I want to do now is solo some of the parts from the track at the beginning of the video outside of the mix so you can hear those guitar parts really clearly. And then I'm also going to play with my TC Ditto looper plugged in front of the pedal, record a guitar loop, and then that'll free up my hand so I can turn all the controls and stuff like that and show you what the thing does. I used a couple different amplifiers to record the parts in the track at the beginning of the video. Most of it is my little Princeton amplifier. I also used my old 72 Marshall and for the guitar solo, and actually hit it with the pedal with a fair amount of drive on the pedal. It's kind of combining with a little bit of overdrive on the amplifier, and that's how I did the solo. Okay, here we go. It's the Revival TREM from Origin Effects. So a little bit more about bias tremolo. Later in the 60s, when Fender did the blackface and silverface amplifiers, those used a different style of tremolo circuit from the earlier 60s amplifiers that featured bias trem. And the sound and feel of bias trem, some people think is the best sounding tremolo. It's just really organic, and it's got this great sounding sort of pulse to it that's quite unique. And also, you kind of play the tremolo depending on how hard you hit the amplifier. So if you crank up the drive on here, this recreates that characteristic beautifully. You can play hard, lay into it with a lot of attack, and the trem sort of fades in the background. You hear mainly sort of the overdriven sound, and then as a chord or note fades out, you hear the pulse of the tremolo come back in. Thanks for watching my video on the Revival Trem from Origin Effects. Awesome sounding 1962 Fender Brown Deluxe style distortion and overdrive characteristics, as well as a great sounding bias tremolo. Like all the great pedals from Origin, it's built like a brick, you know what. And I like that these guys always do something different. It's just really cool having a pedal that's got basically amp style distortion with great sounding bias tremolo built in. I've never seen or heard another pedal quite like it. Check it out further at the link down in the video description below. Hey, if you don't mind, hit subscribe and hit the little bell beside the subscribe if you haven't done so yet. You'll get an alert every time I put out a new video. Hit the thumbs up if you dug the video and share it far and wide. I really appreciate it. And I am Pete Thorn. See you guys real soon. Take care. Over now.